Hello. So, thank you, Austin, for agreeing to have this conversation with Helen, that I believe to be your Portuguese teacher.
Yes, correct.
Yes, yes, and
Mm-hmm.
well, we haven't met yet, but I've heard Helen talking about you, how great of a Portuguese speaker you are, and
Oh,
yeah, I've been wanting to meet you for some time. So thank you for
oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, thank you.
And thank you, Helen, as well, for participating in this project that I don't know if I'm not sure if I share with you, Austin, but it is a project for my 31st birthday. Can I say it like
Mm-hmm.
this?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm having 31 lessons to celebrate, and I'm inviting some important people for me. Can I say
Uh-huh.
that? Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yes.
Helen, it's the most amazing, one of the most amazing people,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
person. What did I say?
Uh, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
Okay, so I have here two English teachers because Helen as well, she is a teacher. She teaches English to children, so you both will help me go through this. So thank you,
All
Helen,
right.
as well.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So we are here today to talk about nonviolent communication, and I would like to share with you both my first experience with nonviolent communication, and then we would we will talk about a little bit about it. So the first time I actually heard the terms nonviolent communication was in a trip. Can I say a trip that I made to Rio last year? A trip or a travel?
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You could say a trip that I made to Rio.
Okay, so a trip that I made to Rio, actually 2 years ago, and then I was invited by a friend, online friend that I have. I actually met her in person there, so she invited me to go to a workshop that she was giving. Can I say that? Giving
Mm-hmm.
her
Mm-hmm.
friend. Uh, and my friend, she works with she teaches people to organize their lives. And
Mm-hmm.
her friend is a therapist. So they created this program, this workshop, where they would teach people how to organize their schedules, but at the same time, the psychotherapist was teaching about nonviolent communication and other things that I don't remember anymore. But she was teaching things. But I remember but she was teaching other things, like other things,
Okay.
a lot of other things. But
Mm-hmm.
sorry, 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so um, yeah, but I remember that she was teaching this nonviolent communication, the way that you can um, like talk to the other people without threatening, where you can solve
Mm-hmm.
conflicts, yeah,
Mm-hmm. Conflict.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, without uh, where you
Being
could like
violent.
exactly, yes, exactly, yeah, thank you, Ellen. So without being violent, so
Mm-hmm.
you yeah, so yeah, I remember thinking, like, how is this possible at all? Because if someone makes you feel in a way that that you don't like, that you feel like sad or upset or angry, how could you ask the other person to stop causing you pain without, how could you be, I think the question for me was like, how would you feel in pain and not wanting like the other person to feel the same way for me? So I couldn't, whenever I'm hurt, not anymore, I try not to be that way, but when we are, I think in general, when people are feeling hurt, they react in a way that they cause more suffering for themselves and for the other person, and it is
Mm-hmm.
unconscious, sort of, because we are in an emotion that sometimes we cannot see, we cannot, like, we cannot avoid. I don't know.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I remember thinking that, but I think then I forgot about nonviolent communication. And the other time that I heard was when Helen was studying it in college, was it? Then you
No,
thought,
it wasn't in college. No, I was talking with my therapist
mhm,
because I was talking about my kids and how could I talk with them like to be more empathic. Is it empathic? Or
Yeah,
to have more
empathetic.
empathy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to have more empathy with them and try to, I don't know, to connect with them in another level. So I talked with her and she taught me a lot of things and I read the book and I have so many things to be thankful about nonviolent communication.
mhm.
Cool.
So then you talked to me a little bit about it when you were studying it with your therapist. So it was it was the second time that I heard it. And then I guess that when I opened my eyes for that reality, I don't know, I think that when we are aligned with some things in life, more information or more, I don't know, more things comes to us. So after that, I was suddenly, all of a sudden, I was listening about nonviolent communication everywhere. I see people talking about it, videos being recommended, and books and a lot of things. So I started to read it. I started reading the book. I haven't finished yet, but the
Mm-hmm.
book that the creator, can I say the creator of nonviolent communication,
Yeah. The creator of either that idea or that concept. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I started reading his book. I started watching videos, and then I think that the reason that I wanted to have this recording, this video about it, is because it became important to me. I still cannot fully apply. I cannot fully understand. It is difficult in the moment. Can you say in English, in the heat of the moment? Because in Portuguese we would say something like that.
Uh-huh. Yeah. You could say that. Mm-hmm.
The heat. Yeah. So I think it is still difficult for me to stop and be calm and understand that the other person is acting. I mean, there are a lot of principles, but when someone is being aggressive towards you, it's because the
Mm-hmm.
person cannot fully understand his or her
Mm-hmm.
feelings, and
Mm-hmm.
they cannot. I think that they cannot get out of this paradigm that we have of judgment, where we think that
Mm-hmm.
someone is either wrong or right. So
Mm-hmm.
we should try to understand that it is not the person's fault that the person is blaming things on us, but
Mm-hmm.
we should try maybe to understand where that the person is coming from, like and connect, because if the person is being judgmental and we start being judgmental, you
Mm-hmm.
you create like
It's kind of like a block almost.
yeah, yeah,
Because in that case, yeah, then you're just butting heads and then it goes nowhere.
exactly, yeah. So I wrote down some principles of nonviolent communication, and
Okay.
I would like to mention them, and maybe Helen could like talk a little bit about some of the thoughts on them. So the
Okay.
number one, and you too, Austin, of course.
Okay.
Uh, so the number one is stop playing the game. Who's right?
Mm.
What would you like to say about that, Helen?
Mm, that's a tough one.
Mm,
It's like I can see that we can like repeat the pattern that we learn with our parents. It's like if I live my childhood seeing that perhaps my father is not respectful with my mother, it's a thing that I can accept if I have a husband and she do the same with me. Do you know? I am just in following the pattern, and this is wrong. So we do this in a, how can I say, not not in just one part of our life, but in a lot of ways we do this. So we have to stop to think and make it change a lot of subjects.
Yeah, so um, it is a difficult one for me. I mean, to so it is. I think our minds are dualistic. We are always seeing things in terms of opposites, like happiness, sadness, I don't know, black, white sort of thinking. So the behaviors of a person, we tend to put in a category. We could not, but he talks about understanding people's needs instead of understanding, judging them. And so if someone does something like, I don't know, an example, Helen. Um, I don't know. Okay. So for example, something that happened today. So I want to throw a Zoom party for my birthday, and I started inviting people. So I invited this one friend that always says that I'm speaking about him a lot during those videos, but I mean, he's the friend I talk to the most. But anyway, so I invited him, and then his first reaction was to say, I told him that it was going to be a Zoom party, and then I was thinking about some games to play, and he's very shy. So he first answer was, "I'm not going to participate." And then my first reaction was to get offended. How dare you? How am I going to explain to the other friends that you're not coming? What am I going to say to them? But then I was using nonviolent communication to understand why was he saying that he was not going to participate. Was it because my first thought is like, he's hurting me, he wants me to suffer, but it is not the case at all. Why would he want me to suffer? Why would he want, I mean, to cause me pain? Like, so, and but he has not, and he wrote like in capital letters, so he was a bit aggressive, like, I'm not going. And then, I mean, I could judge him. I could like think that he's not my friend because he's not going to participate, or I could put myself in his shoes and understand why he would say that. A place of compassion and understanding what are his needs, instead of judging him, judging what he was saying, and punishing him by whatever I could do, like not talking to him for a day or three, or longer maybe. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, so I understood, and then I understood, and he's going to participate, and we talked, and he's going to be there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good example. And I think I liked what you kind of talked about with understanding the other person's needs, and even just kind of understanding the other person. Because what you mentioned about, who's right and who's wrong, that's going to differ with every person that you talk to, because something that might seem right or important to me, to that other person might not seem right or important. And so then you have this disconnect between, well, this is what I think and this is what you think. And sometimes there's not a clear right or, resolution, so to speak. And so I think honestly, yeah, you did the right thing in that when you reached a point where it's like, oh, this person I don't think understands how that makes me feel, then you talk to the other person. And it's always best to ask them even. I think, you can have that nonviolent communication by just asking the person, well, why is it that you don't want to participate, and why can't you come? Because it might be something that's very kind of personal for them, that they just need to, feel that they can share that with you, that if they don't, then they might just come across as very direct and very much like, this is how it is. So
Yeah, and there is another principle of nonviolent communication that I love, that is called, I think it's the ducky way. Do you remember this one? What it is? What was it? Child feeding the duck. So it is a principle that says that whenever you want them to do something for you, But if they do not do it like a child would do, like with the joy of a child feeding a duck, you don't want them to do. You don't want them to do out of shame, out of obligation. You want them to do something for you because they want to with their whole heart. So, I mean, why would I want to have someone on my birthday party, a very important day for me? Like, it's my 31, my 31st birthday. I'm so excited about it. I'm so happy. I mean, if a friend doesn't feel comfortable being there because he's shy, he doesn't like games or interacting much, I don't know, or if it's whatever reason it might be. I mean, I don't want someone being forced, you know. And for a long time, I wanted people doing things for me because I wanted to feel loved, but I didn't care much about what they were feeling by making me feel the way I wanted to feel. I mean, does it make sense?
And it's a
Yeah.
deep concept.
Oh, it is. It is. Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, Austin, have you ever wanted people doing things for you because you wanted to feel special or loved? Or...
Yeah, I think, this is something that comes up a lot. And I think for everybody, it depends on how much you kind of know what matters to you and what you want. And I was going to say, kind of what you were just talking about. A lot of times when, of course, we want people to do something for us to make us feel special or loved, I feel like what happens is people don't communicate those things to those people. So then those people don't do them because they don't know. And then we feel let down simply because we didn't communicate to them. And so for me, I always tried to make a point that with somebody, whether it be a friend or a partner or a family member, simply like, this is what's important to me. This is, what makes me feel, that you like me or love me or want me around. And so I always start with just being as explicit as I can with just what it is, that makes me feel that way, because for everyone it's different. And so I can't just expect people to know this is what makes me feel, good about myself. So I always just try to, be as clear as I can and give that person the opportunity to decide for themselves if they, wish to make me feel that way or not. So.
Wow, that's an important one, because being that open and explicit, as you said, would you say that you learned how to not feel vulnerable? Because for me, it's like the toughest. Can I say this? The most tough. Oh, the
Yeah, you
toughest.
could say the toughest thing
Toughest.
for me.
Okay. Okay. So it is the toughest thing for me because like it feels like I'm exposing myself by saying what I want and what I expect. For you, was it always the case? And you too, Helen? Because I know that Helen is very open, right? She can say what she wants and what she means because I know her. But I'm not sure if it was always the case with Helen, but with
Yeah.
you.
Well, I think it's something that it's not very common, because like you said, you bring up a good point of vulnerability,
Mm-hmm.
that, having open communication is about being vulnerable and
Yeah.
exposing yourself to that person. And so it definitely wasn't easy. It took me a lot of, just practice trying to communicate to people. And especially when I was younger, I just didn't know how to maybe access those feelings or those thoughts, or how to just speak them to somebody else. That, the more I realized how important it was for me to be just clear with that other person. And I think when you are vulnerable with somebody else, then typically the response is, wow, I really appreciate you saying something. So I've never had a bad response from being more open and vulnerable. So I think that really helped me just continue that way.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. What about you, Ellen?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I will always talk about kids. I'm sorry.
No, no, it's fine. Go ahead.
It's like, um, when I have my kids, I always try to say to them that they can count on me. Doesn't matter, like what they need. They can count on me, and then I share my feelings with them too. It's like, oh, today I'm not feeling okay, and then I can share and then show them that I can feel sad, and it's not okay. It's not bad, like to feel not okay. It's okay to be not okay. And they have to know this, like since they are kids. Because otherwise, if they learn like to repress their feelings when they get adults, it will be tough to break this on them. So yeah, I was not like this since I was a kid. I was like, I was, but then no one like got to listen to me. So okay, let me move on. But then I rethink about it and I can see that it's the best way because I don't like if you are thinking about something and I have to know what are you thinking. I cannot. I'm not a magician. I don't know how to speak this.
Yeah.
But I cannot make magic and recognize what are you thinking. So please tell me because I will tell you what am I feeling, what am I needing in all of this. And don't worry, okay? I will try to be like the best person that I can be for you.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah, it is interesting because I think it, it needs to work both ways, right? I think, for example, if you, I mean, you put yourself out there, but you need the other person, like to, I don't know, not that you need them to do the same, but it was, I think it would be so rewarding. For example, you, Austin, you said that you learned how to be open, but imagine if you were in a relationship or with your friends or, I mean, a loving one, e- how do you say a personal other?
Well,
There's
yeah, you could. Yeah, what you said, a loved one or a significant other,
significant other.
or.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that was the word. So imagine that if the person does not communicate, because I've heard from some people when I communicate that we don't have to communicate everything, like that there are things that we should keep to ourselves. I've heard that from friends
Mm,
and people that I
that's
was in
absolutely
relation.
true.
You think that there are things that we do not
Yes.
need to communicate?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because sometimes you just want to tell you the like something that it's not will not be cool if you tell the person. It's like you have like some pain inside you that it's about that person. But if you tell her, you're trying to, oh, take this. This is
Put
not mine.
put the
This is
blame on the other
yeah,
person.
yeah. But it's
Hmm.
all yours. So you have like no, I have to deal with this because
Hmm.
this is mine. It's not hers or his. But
Hmm.
this is complicated, we know.
Oh,
Right? Because we just want to be like the blame one or the one that are having like, I don't know, something bad feelings or bad thoughts. So I just want to take this bag of feeling, okay?
Hmm.
And be happy because I'm not. It's something like
take my
this.
pain. Yeah,
Yeah, take it and go.
yeah. Interesting. It leads us to the next principle, that it is, don't say I feel as I do because you. So he says that we should not, I mean, when we use the type of language like, it hurts me that you, I don't know, you don't call me, it hurts me that you
Hmm.
do not clean the house.
Hmm.
So when we use this kind of language, we are putting the blame on the other person. Whereas, can I say that? Whereas,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
okay. Uh, I mean, I feel the way I do because of my feelings, my own feelings, my
Right.
traumas, my unmet needs. It is all
Mm-hmm.
my responsibility. The way I feel, it is not
Mm-hmm.
anyone else's fault. So
Mm-hmm.
instead, he says that we should use this thing that he calls Giraffe language, that I'll let
Okay.
Helen explain, because she did a great job explaining it to me the first time I heard it. So what is
Okay.
Giraffe language, Helen?
Let's try to explain why they got like the giraffe. So the giraffe, it's like the animal that does have the biggest and largest heart in the animal world. So this is the first thing. And then the second thing, it's because she have like a long neck. So you have a big heart and you have a long neck. That makes you like be more empathic and also can watch and see things like not inside of the situation, but you can
Mm-hmm.
have like the app, like the applied.
Yeah, well, you could say, an outsider's perspective, or just a larger view of just everything.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I can have this large view of everything because if I am here with you, I don't know what should be happening, but
Mm-hmm.
when I get out, I get distance of this, I can
Mm-hmm.
see what is the background of this.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's why Jeff.
I like that image. I think it's really nice and kind of shows um, just how to better understand the situation. And what Camila, what you were saying too, I think it's really interesting. I've heard that before as far as, how you communicate to the other person, not trying to cast blame, but rather, phrasing it so that they understand maybe what the problem or the issue is for you, but not that, of course, it's their fault. I think it's a lot better to say, you hurt me when you do this. Instead of saying that, you can say, I feel hurt when this happens. This is what I like. But again, you're not saying you have to do this, but going back to just informing them, this is when I'm sad and this is what I like. So that
Exactly.
person just knows. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So this giraffe language, it has like four steps. The first one, like Helen said, she has, I think it, for you English speakers, it must be funny that we say that a giraffe is she, right?
Yeah, it's
But you know
interesting. I
why.
noticed that with certain things. Very right. Yes, because we would say the giraffe has or it has. We would
It
typically
has.
just kind of get rid of the gender, but she works as well because you have she giraffe and he giraffe. So.
Yeah. so, so the giraffe um, has like this long neck, and she she can has perspective. So the
Mm-hmm.
first thing you should observe instead of labeling first. So if someone does something, like imagine you are in I don't know, like a group of people, they are talking, but um, no, imagine that a lot of some people don't have a chance to speak,
Mm-hmm.
and then instead of being angry, you observe what happened. So some people, they didn't get a chance to speak, and then you share your feeling with the person that maybe caused it, somehow spoke for the entire time. Maybe you share your feeling, and then you share your need in the way in a way, for example, like you said, I am sad that we were all grouped here today, but some people didn't get a chance to speak. And then you share your need. It is important for me that everyone speaks in this group because we are here to share experiences, let's say. And then you make a clear request. So the request could be, maybe next time we get together, everyone
Mm-hmm.
will have 5 minutes to speak. So in that
Mm-hmm.
way, no one will lose their opportunity to speak. So it is
Mm-hmm.
a clear like request, and you understand what happened, and you are not how would you say not overreacting, um, or reacting to something that caused
Yeah.
you pain.
Right, right. I mean, and I think anytime we do feel hurt or, deceived or disappointed, we have a tendency to overreact or just be very dramatic even about the situation, which, like you said, it may be as simple as saying, this is the reason I feel this way. And it's good too to identify whether it is you're upset or you're sad or whatever the case may be. If you can identify it, and then, like you said, being able to just, again, not have an overreaction, but say, this is what I would like to happen next time so I don't feel this way.
Yeah, yeah. And the other person, it is very important that the person you are communicating your needs, the person needs to want to do. You cannot deny the other person the power of choice. So there is another
Mm-hmm.
interesting example in Marshall's, I forgot his,
Rosenberg.
Rosenberg. Yeah, uh, Marshall Rosenberg. He tells a story about a woman that didn't like to cook, but she was cooking every day for her family, but
Mm-hmm.
she didn't like it. So he said to her, like, why do you cook if you do not like to? And she said, because I
Mm-hmm.
have to. So he said, no, we have to drop those I have to's. Replace
Mm-hmm.
it by replace them by I want you. So
Mm-hmm.
she went home, and then her son went to another workshop, his workshop, Marshall's workshop, and then Marshall was curious to know what happened to his mother, and then he asked the son, so what did your mother do? Did she stop cooking? And then he said, thank God she did, because she was whining all along. She was cooking and she was whining,
Oh,
complaining
no.
about having to cook. And actually, I'm not remember if he said that she didn't cook well. She was not a good cooker. And
Yeah, I
Okay.
think
at all.
yes.
Yeah. And now she's not cooking, but she thought she had to. But we do not have to do
Right.
anything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then it is interesting because it is not our job to please or to make another human to feel as we think that they like to, because maybe
Mm-hmm.
they don't even want to, like the children, they and her family
Mm-hmm.
didn't actually want her to cook, but she
Mm-hmm.
was making them miserable by cooking actually, and she thought she was,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So yeah, so we should choose things
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
allow other people to choose as well, and
Mm-hmm.
not do things. Hmm.
Right. Well, I was just going to say too, I think it's important, as far as with nonviolent communication, you can communicate your ideas and your feelings with somebody. And like you said, they have the right to choose, and they may choose, to not continue with you or to not keep
Yeah.
speaking with you. And it's fine because, again, that's their choice, but better to give that person the opportunity to decide, I know that you need and want this to make you happy, but I can't give that to you. And I think that's okay to be able to tell someone, which, again, if everyone is already just kind of calm and respectful of one another, then it's easier. The other person feels that they can maybe say that. Whereas before, if they felt attacked, they might have been like, you know what, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to hurt this person anymore.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I don't know if Helen. Do you know Jujut Austin? Do you know who she is?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, she's a YouTuber. She's a
Uh-huh.
Brazilian YouTuber, and
Okay.
she's very fun. She's very funny. So there is a video that she recorded like a long time ago, long before I've heard about nonviolent communication, that helped me, because sometimes our egos, we feel like
Mm-hmm.
we need to, I don't know, defend ourselves. I don't know,
Yeah.
because maybe we would lose a sense of existence if someone, I don't know, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. We get defensive when someone hurts the
Right.
image that we think we should have. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. So she was talking about a story where she was not invited to go to, I don't know, to a restaurant with her friends, and she got really pissed, angry
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't invite her. But then she thought, she created like something like taking her out of the picture, like in
Mm-hmm.
because it happened to her, she was hurt. But
Right.
if she was listening to a story of two friends that went to have dinner with each other but did not
Mm-hmm.
invite another friend, would that be
Mm-hmm.
okay? If she was not in the situation, she would think, oh, it's fine actually. I mean, two friends, I mean, because people, they are allowed to have a lot of friends, and two of them can go
Mm-hmm.
together without inviting all the
Mm-hmm.
group. So
Mm-hmm.
so she takes her out of the picture. So yeah, so I mean, there was some event that a guy I liked, he just stopped talking to me. And then I was
Mm-hmm.
like so hurt for so long. I was like, how dare he? How dare him? Like,
Right.
he just stopped talking to me. But then if I take
Mm-hmm.
myself, because the factor that caused me pain is because it happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone tells me a
Mm-hmm.
story, if I see something in the movie, like, okay, so this guy does not like this girl and he
Mm-hmm.
decided not to be in her life anymore, would that be
Mm-hmm.
okay? I mean, yes, if it's not happening to me, it's fine. I mean, it happens
Mm-hmm.
everywhere, every time. I mean,
Right.
in the past, it will
Right.
happen in the future. People get rejected,
Mm-hmm.
but because it is
Mm-hmm.
you, like you said, we make things dramatic because it is
Mm-hmm.
happening to them. But so it helped when I heard that, it helped me to gain perspective. Like, so it's fine if someone is not talking to me anymore. It's fine if
Mm-hmm.
some friends go out and do not invite me. Why would that be wrong?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's great. And I think kind of what you're getting at is this whole idea of not taking it personally, where I think everyone, really takes things personally, where we have to always kind of do a self check, where, like you said, if this happened to somebody else, would it really be as bad, or would it really matter as much? But I think it's still okay. It's still okay to be honest with yourself. You can feel hurt and you can
yeah,
feel rejected and say, I feel that. It doesn't mean that you need to, like Helen was talking about earlier, where you don't always need to communicate that to people. Because if you realize you feel that way because you are taking it personally, then that's okay. But you don't have to always tell people, you really hurt me when this happened. Again, using the wrong language to say that it was their fault.
Yeah.
But trying to be like, okay, this hurts me. Is it something that I need to learn to deal with? Or is it something that I tell these friends, like, hey, I really like going out with you guys and getting dinner. Next time you go, you should let me know. Just
yeah,
communicating that to them so they know, oh, I didn't realize Camila
yeah.
likes going out with dinner. I thought she preferred to stay home. So it really depends on the person.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Because in our minds, we create this whole conspiracy theory
Mm-hmm.
that, like, oh, how dare Helen? She's going out with Filet, and I mean, Filet is
She used a real name. Okay, that's why I'm laughing.
no, yeah, yeah. Filet is Helen roommate. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
Gustavo.
Wow.
She's going out with Gustavo, and I mean, I wanted to go, but I bet that they went out in secrecy, like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, because they're mean and they're like talking about. I mean, they're not.
Right,
I
right.
mean,
Yeah, our brains can just form any sort of ideas and theories about a situation that are not true or real in any case.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, and yeah, and then there's another thing that I wanted to say. That another, it is interesting. It is interesting that our conversation is touching upon a lot of principles naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
another principle is interesting that I think Helen, if she didn't tell me, I think she applied it with me. It is enjoy someone's suffering. It is because
Huh.
sometimes when someone is going through something bad, I mean, it might not be related to what we did, but
Mm-hmm.
we think that it is our responsibility to make the other person feel great or to take
Mm-hmm.
that pain away. And
Mm-hmm.
so the person would not feel that way anymore. So we try to say the right thing, and enjoy
Mm-hmm.
someone's suffering would be to be in the presence of the person, the friend, the family member, and be present and listen. Just that. There's nothing else
Mm-hmm.
required. We do not need to
Mm-hmm.
think that we caused that, and or that we have the responsibility to fix it. So just be
Mm-hmm.
with a person. And it is something actually hard, because whenever someone tells me a sad story, something bad that they have happened,
Mm-hmm.
they have
Uh-huh. Yeah, something bad happened to them.
something bad
Mm-hmm.
happened to them, I feel like I need to make them feel happy. I need to cheer them up. I need to
Mm-hmm.
say the
Mm-hmm.
right thing. I'll give presents. I do give a lot of
Right.
presents when my friends are sad. But I mean, I do not have to do anything. I just need to be there for them. I think if you didn't
Mm-hmm.
mention, I think I went through a lot of difficult times with Helen by my side, just in silence.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, or I mean, it made all the difference. I think to have someone that is
Mm-hmm.
there, without
Mm-hmm.
needing to feel the silence.
Right.
Words. How would you
Mm-hmm.
say that? To
To feel, just kind of feel that person there, their presence.
Yeah, the void with words.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, well, and I mean, I think what you're kind of referring to is true on so many levels, especially like some problems and sufferings that people go through. There really is no remedy, or there's nothing you can do to fix it. And I think you're right. It's better to so be with that person and understand. I thought the phrase to enjoy someone's suffering was, it's a bit of a stretch in a sense, because when I enjoy something, I take enjoyment from it. Where I understand what you're saying, that you're not taking enjoyment from that person
no,
feeling bad.
no,
People will say that about their enemies, maybe. That's like, oh, when my enemies are doing bad, then yay. But of course, you don't want that mentality either. But in any case, you are, what you mentioned, just being with them in that suffering, in understanding that there may not be, of course, anything that you can do to make them feel any better, but that's not really what they need. And they may not want that. Sometimes people want to feel those bad feelings to be able to get to the other side of them. And so having people at your side really helps with just that process. It makes it not as hard, which I think is the most important thing, is to just try to make it a little less burdensome than it may already be.
yes, yes, yeah. We need to go through whatever we are going through. As you
Mm-hmm.
said,
Mm-hmm.
I think not feeling what you're feeling is a way of perpetuating what you were.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. What do you
yeah.
think,
Because
Helen?
if you don't go through it, then it just comes back around, and then it's just
Yeah,
a
yeah,
continuous cycle. Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's it. Sometimes, oh, it's important because when you were a kid, when you get hurt, at least here in Brazil, when you get hurt, your mother said, shut up, stop crying. It's
Oh
just,
no!
it's not a big deal. Oh,
Yeah.
get over.
Right.
Okay? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
stand up, let's go. And then
Mm-hmm.
you have to repress what are you feeling. So if I keep doing this, I will like fill my bucket, fill,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then something like catastrophic. Oh my God,
Ah,
catastrophic can happen.
right, right. Yeah.
Tough one. So
Yeah.
we have to pay attention. We have to say, but that's important, Camila,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes we just have to stand there for the person. We do not have to solve their problems. Like we want to, because we are friends and we want you to be happy, but it's a part of you, like to have problems. It's okay to have. And the important thing is to you to know that I will be there. And if you need, if you want, I will listen, I will try to help, I will move mountains to help you. That's it. Do you know? But if you don't, I will be just your ear or just be there in my presence. And
Mm.
that's it.
Yeah, I think that is what friendship is about. Like being in each other's company, like just being, like not saying or doing. We just need to be that. I mean, that shoulder, that ear, that the person. I think that is what makes a great friend. Like that capacity of, even when we are feeling like horrible, they are there and we feel comfortable in the presence. I mean, as a teacher, but especially as a friend, there are some silences that I cannot um, um, deal with. I mean,
Yeah, you can say silences you can't bear, or you
can
can't, yeah,
bear.
you can't stand.
Yeah, and I think I know that I like someone as a friend or as something more when silence is comfortable. I think that's the important thing, like, because whenever silence is not comfortable, I will be in the search of words to say, and I'll be like in my head, and I will say things, and then I will overthink. Wow, am I saying just something stupid? And I'll be thinking about what the person is thinking. So I think that the most unbearable thing for me is silence, that I feel the need to feel to with
To,
words.
yeah, to do something or fill, yeah, what you talked about, filling that void. And I think it's really interesting too, because I know, especially with my good friends and my family, sometimes too, I have even had to communicate to them if I'm going through something and they want to help. And, I simply say, there's really nothing you can do. And they'll say, well, I'm here if you need me. And they leave it at that. Because sometimes too, somebody doesn't want somebody at their side for a time. And, people that I think really understand me as a person know that I will reach out to them when I need them the most. And even if it is them just being at my side, but like you said, whether that silence is with that person there or not there, people that, you're comfortable with understand that and will respond accordingly.
Yes, yes, yes. Amazing. Yes, that's it. Oh, I think that this nonviolent communication, it is I mean, could I say that it is a philosophy, Helen? You think so? Would you
I don't
say
know.
it is
I think it's a way of life.
way of life?
Mm-hmm.
It could change like your entire life. And I wonder if we are taught that in school, how a society would be. I mean, in your school, Helen, sorry, do you teach nonviolent communication for children? Or,
Um,
or do
as
you,
like
as a,
I will not say that I teach them, but because my school works a lot with self-regulation, that the kids learn to self-regulate themselves, and
Mhm.
I think it have like the background on the nonviolent communication. And then when I have a problem, I always ask, what can I do for you? Because I cannot solve the problem for them. They have to know what can I do for them, and then I can help, because like sometimes I don't know what I have to do. I don't know which shirt should I pick,
Mm-hmm.
because when I was a kid, they didn't gave to me the chance to choose. So it's like I can get know myself. So I
Mm-hmm.
always ask, what can I do for you? And then they can answer me and try to think. If they don't know, I can give some options, and then they can decide what fits better.
That is so interesting what you just said, that you, can I say, were neglected the power of choice, the power of
Yeah, yeah.
choice. They took it away from you,
Mm-hmm.
the power of choosing. And because I feel the same way, that they are simple. Luan is the same way. I remember that in a we were I always say this word, beach. We were in a beach. Am I saying this
Uh-huh.
correctly?
You were
My
on the
brother.
beach, or you were at the beach. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we were at the beach. It is the
uh,
pronunciation that I mean. So my brother
uh,
and I, we were at the beach,
uh-huh.
and with our aunt and uncle, and we were in a ferry, in a how do
Mm-hmm.
you say
Okay.
Theta ferry? We were in a
Mm-hmm.
ferry, and we had to pick things to give to other people that were not in the travel, like those, how do you call it?
Souvenirs.
Souvenirs. And
Mm-hmm.
we
Okay.
couldn't, my brother and I, we couldn't make up our minds. We would stop in every, Helen, barraca, Austin, barraca,
Like tent.
tent.
Like,
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Tent.
Mm-hmm.
We would stop in every single tent, and then we would stay there for hours. And then our aunt and, can I say ankles or ants? Because it is an ant and
No.
an ankle. How do you call them?
Uh-huh. So if you're referring to, yeah, if it's
The
just
couple.
one kind of group, so your aunt and your uncle, if you say my aunts and my uncles, then I think a bunch of aunts and a bunch of uncles. Fortunately, there's no plural. You can't just say my uncles unless you're just talking about uncles.
Oh,
So.
okay. So you have to say. So my aunt and my uncle, they sort of lost their temper with us. They said, they yelled sort of
Oh,
like, you are very indecisive.
yeah,
I won't
yeah.
travel with you ever again.
Oh
And and
no.
then and then I started noticing that we could not. I don't know if Luan still have the same problem, Helen, maybe. He's still
Mm,
very indecisive. I don't know. But I am, because I do not know what it is good for me. I just
mm,
recently discovered that I like the color yellow, just recently. Like
mm.
recently. I don't
Yeah.
know, because I didn't know. My mom, she would buy all my clothes.
Uh-huh.
So there's so many things, and sometimes people will say things to me, like some student will say things like, "Oh, I love to decorate my house," and then I would
Mm-hmm.
try to think what that must feel like, what it is like a
Mm-hmm.
person who likes to decorate. And a
Mm-hmm.
student would tell me, I like to make a lot of notes. And then I was like, what it
Mm-hmm.
is like to make a lot of notes? Because I do
Mm-hmm.
not know. I feel like everything, it's new, and I'm still
Mm-hmm.
figuring out
Mm-hmm.
what I like,
Yeah,
what I
figuring it all
dislike.
out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because when you do not have the choice, like the freedom to be, it is
Mm-hmm.
difficult. You grow up and you just
Mm-hmm.
have like the set of values, of
Mm-hmm.
things that you must do. Like when Marshall says that we have to get rid of, like, I have to do that
Mm-hmm.
because that it is what a good girl does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That what I'm supposed to do. Otherwise, people
Mm-hmm.
will judge me, would think I'm bad. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
be bad if you
Yeah.
want.
Hmm? Sorry, Ellen?
Yeah.
Be bad if you want. That's it.
I will.
Yeah.
I will be
The
bad.
moral, the moral of the story is to be bad if you want to make that choice.
I'll
Yes.
be bad.
Yeah, and I think those are kind of two topics, because the power of choice and the ability to make your own choices. Because people who I think are indecisive, it doesn't mean that they weren't given choices. It may be just they feel a lot of anxiety around making a certain choice. But I agree with Helen too, that I think it's good from even a young age to give somebody the opportunity to choose, even if it's something insignificant. So whether it be what they want to wear, what they want to eat, what they want to do, and if they can't think of anything, then it's kind of like, oh, well, how about this? Or how about that? So kind of giving them some guidance. So, there are certain choices I don't want to make sometimes, and I appreciate when somebody has more input. But I also know that sometimes when I have to make a decision, it's probably something that, maybe it doesn't really matter, where we eat tonight, just pick a place and let's do it. So sometimes, yeah, it's just, making a choice just to make one, versus really, do I have the right to, or do I not? So
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
But it's good to know what we like to do,
mm,
and this
yeah.
insignificant like choices to
Mm,
us looks like to pick the shirt or the
right.
skirt, or like what they are gonna to eat at the breakfast.
Mm-hmm,
Doesn't
mm-hmm,
matter to me if it's gonna to be an apple or an orange, but if I
mm-hmm,
give them the chance to choose, like, oh, I have the, oh, I can do
mm-hmm,
this,
mm-hmm,
like you give
mm-hmm.
the power, like to
yeah.
you
Right.
empower the person.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Yeah, and like Austin said, I think that not choosing is a choice as well. When you say that,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where I choose, where we eat, choose. So it reminds me of Barack Obama. He said that when he was president of the United States, that he has a lot of important things to decide. So he wouldn't decide on insignificant things like which shirt to
Mm-hmm,
wear in the morning. He would let other people
mm-hmm,
decide that for him, because it
mm-hmm.
takes a lot of energy also
Yeah.
deciding. So
Yeah.
if you know that it doesn't matter what color you're wearing
Mm-hmm,
or what you're eating exactly, okay, so
mm-hmm,
you save some energy to decide on
mm-hmm.
more important things, but it is a choice, not
Yeah.
choosing.
Right. Right.
As I have a
Definitely.
problem with a kid, I choose my battles. Not
Mm-hmm.
every
Yeah.
battle I will. Mm-mm-mm.
Right. Right.
Just the ones that I will choose and stand for it.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing, amazing. Wow, thank you so much, you both, for being here with me tonight. I love that conversation. I hope you both have enjoyed as much as I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Camila.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Thank you, Justin. Oh, Austin. Oh my God. Oh, I might cut this. Oh, sorry, Austin.
No,
I
that's
am
okay.
so nervous now. It's okay. So
No, no, it's very,
thank you,
yeah, very
Austin.
common.
And thank you,
Thank you,
Helen.
Camila. Thank you,
You're
Yeah,
Helen.
so
welcome, Camila.
bye. Bye.
All right, ciao.
Bye.